Hello everyone and welcome to our Giant Slayer LOR review of the new Legends of Runeterra expansion, Cosmic Creation. Cosmic Creation is the final set of cards that will be added to Call of the Mountain, and with it comes a handful of new tools with a focus on cards from Noxus, Piltover and Zaun, and Targon. While this expansion has quite a few cards that have the ability to heavily impact the format, in this video we'll be taking a look at the top 5 most likely cards to shake up the game. Before we get into the list, take a moment to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already so you can stay up to date with more of our Giant Slayer LOR content. With that out of the way, let's jump on in. Coming in at number 5, we have It That Stares. It That Stares is an excellent addition to Freljord. The region already has access to one of the most powerful AoE removal options in the game with Avalanche, and It That Stares will complement that perfectly. At its baseline, It That Stares is an 8-mana 8/8 with a very relevant effect of either obliterating all landmarks or dealing 2 to all other units. This makes the card incredibly useful for Freljord as it gives the region a solid payoff for ramping. By gaining access to another AoE option, Freljord takes one step closer to having a critical mass of removal tools, solidifying Freljord as one of the strongest regions for AoE. It That Stares also being a viable answer to landmarks gives this already strong card extra versatility, increasing the card odds of being a metagame role player. Coming in at number 4, we've got Hunt the Weak. Traditionally, discard effects in CCGs are either hit or miss. Often when they're good, they'll warp the format around themselves, but there are occasions where they're not quite strong enough. In the case of Hunt the Weak, it's very likely that this ends up being reasonably powerful. For 2 mana, Hunt the Weak will discard the weakest follower from the enemy hand. This effect is relevant against nearly every single deck in Runeterra and is held back exclusively by the how often the card actually hits. So long as Hunt the Weak is discarding something, the card is at its worst a 2 mana 1/1. At its best, however, Hunt the Weak can preemptively answer threats like Radiant Guardian or the Leviathan depending on the enemy's hand state. Our number 3 card is Sparklefly. One of the most impressive cards coming out of Cosmic Creation, to the surprise of some, would be Sparklefly. Reminiscent of Kinku Lifeblade pre-nerf, Sparklefly is a cheap threat that will create relevant life swings throughout the game. In its heyday, Kinku Lifeblade was a 4-mana 2/3 that was excellent at pressuring the enemy nexus while keeping yours healthy. When compared to a 2-mana 1/2 lifesteal, the cards are fulfilling very similar roles. However, one key difference between Kinku Lifeblade and Sparklefly is the regions that they're part of. Targon is arguably the ideal region to have a cheap elusive beater in, as the region excels at protecting and buffing its units. A single Sparklefly may not look that threatening at first, but what happens when you give it a handful of gems and target it with a Bastion? Rising up the list at number 2 is Zoe, an incredibly cheap threat with a lot going on. Zoe is a 1-mana 1/1 elusive much like Teemo, though she has a significantly more relevant effect. If Zoe strikes the Nexus, she'll create a super cool star chart in hand, and if you already have one, she'll reduce its cost by 1. In the simplest terms, Zoe's a 1/1 that will connect early and often. When she connects first, she draws a card. If she connects multiple times, she refunds the cost of that card. If she doesn't, she probably traded for a card that cost more than 1 mana. Zoe's a cheap threat that will generate you card advantage if not dealt with quickly. While leveling up Zoe is unlikely to happen in most games, her level up effect is absolutely game winning. She'll no longer create a super cool star chart on Nexus Strike, instead replacing them with a 0 cost Behold the Infinite. On top of that, if you achieve her level up, your units once played will give their keywords to all of your other allies. This effect can be absolutely devastating when you consider the steady stream of keywords that you can get from invoked followers. It is very likely that we'll be seeing a lot of Zoe in this new format. Topping off the list, we have none other than Riven. Riven is an aggressively statted 3-cost champion as a 3-mana 3/4 who will reforge every time you get the attack token. If you reforge 3 times and create a Blade of the Exile in hand, Riven will level up to a 4/5, giving her a premium stat line for not so hard of a level up condition. On top of her already powerful stat line, the spells she reforges have various uses. Be it using them for their intended purpose of buffing your units, discarding them to effects such as Rummage, or simply using them as a spell trigger for Lee Sin or Fizz, they are simply versatile and give the Riven player additional options. While it may be tricky to imagine what an optimal Riven deck will look like, it is highly likely to be a notable part of the metagame for the foreseeable future. As her stat line is so efficient, she is begging to be a noteworthy champion. Cosmic Creation is just around the corner and the excitement is in the air. The set will bring with it a handful of new strategies for players to tinker around with, and we only just named a few of the noteworthy cards. Some honorable mentions such as Wiggly Burblefish or Nyandroid are also likely to make waves, but the set has much more to offer past just those. Join us over the upcoming weeks in Fight Night Legends to see how Cosmic Creation has impacted the format. Thank you for watching, and if you enjoy our content, please be sure to hit the like button and subscribe for future Giant Slayer LOR videos.